This is NVHA 090002, our 423rd interview overall. It is February the 2nd, 2019, and we're in Tiffin, Ohio, at the home of Louis and Millie Lee. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for allowing us to come and do this interview.
Oh, it's our honor that you came.
Thank you. Well, let's start off with the basics. What is your full name?
Louis James Lee.
Now, the Louis or the James, were those family names? Were you named after somebody in the family?
I don't think so.
Okay. Just a good combination.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. And what was your highest rank in the military?
I was a T5.
T5. Okay, that would be...
Tech
Tech
like
sergeant?
a corporal.
Okay. All right. And what is your birthday?
February the 18th, 1923.
Well, Corporal Lee, where were you born?
I was born in Tiffin, Ohio.
Okay, yeah. You're a homeboy. You stayed.
That's right.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it is with me. I've stayed in Anderson all these years. Yeah. Now, were you born at home or in a hospital or where?
I was born at home.
Okay.
On a couch in the living room.
Okay. And where's the house located?
165 Coast Street.
Okay.
And I lived there until I got married. I was living there when I went in the service.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I take it your mother was there at the time.
Yes.
Tell me a little something about her. What was her name?
Her name was Henrietta, but everybody called her Hattie.
Hattie? Okay.
And her father's name was Joe Herkenrader.
Perkenrader?
Herkenrader. That's a good German name.
Okay. Spell it for me. I want
Spell it for him. Herkenrader.
H-E-R-G-E-N-R-A-T-H-E-R. Herkenrader.
Okay.
R-A-T-H-E-R.
All right.
All right. What he did, when he first came to Tiffin, he made cigars and sold them.
Okay.
Then he did pretty well at that, so he bought a bar, a hotel, and it had a junkyard behind it.
Okay.
And his wife died, which would have been my grandma,
Right.
about 2 weeks after the baby was born. He raised 6 girls,
Holy smokes.
all by himself,
Wow.
and they lived always in that above the bar.
Okay.
And the hotel was attached to it.
Huh. Wow. What was his first name?
Joe.
Joe.
Joseph.
And his wife's name, your grandmother, what was her name?
I can't even tell you. I never knew her. Of
Okay.
course.
Yeah.
I feel bad that I
That's all right.
could
That's all
find
right.
it.
That's okay. Yeah. Well, what was your mother like? What would you tell folks about her?
Well, my mother was a jewel. She was full of the devil. And that's the way my grandpa was.
Yeah.
That's where she got it from. You couldn't tell what he might do the same way with my mother. If you better watch out if she wanted to play a joke on you, because she could do it. She was a real honey. She really was. It was funny. I'm jumping ahead here a little, but Millie's father was like my mother.
Oh, really?
He was full of the devil, too. His wife, or Millie's mother, she's what I would call a saint. My dad was like that. He never harmed a soul.
Here you go.
But anyhow, we both had great parents.
Boy, that sounded like quite a guy.
Yeah.
Right. And your dad's name?
My dad's name was James F. Lee.
Okay.
He was originally called, I don't know whether you should put this in there. His first name originally was Frank.
Okay.
But there was another Frank. We lived on Coat Street. As you went on out, of course, you got into the country, and there was a Frank Lee that lived there. Well, and he drank a little too much, and he'd get his name in the paper, and of course, my mother's friends would say, "Gee, your husband went to jail." So he decided, he changed his name from Frank to James F. It was J. Frank Lee.
That's pretty good. Your mother lost 20 pounds when she married him, going from
Yeah.
down to that Lee. So what would you say about your father? What kind of guy was he? Is it a
I'll tell you, my
quiet
father,
guy?
like I said, he never harmed a soul.
Yeah.
And what he was, he always worked at a furniture store. And he worked for Ewald's Furniture Company, which is still here in Tiffin. And he started his own business in 1939. And I was a junior in high school at the time. In fact, I can really remember his first job was putting linoleum. Back then, in those days, it was linoleum, not vinyl like it
Sure.
is today, or hardwood. My dad says he had a truck coming, and he had everything on that first job, and it was going to come about 3:30, like on a Friday afternoon. And of course, I was always out for football and basketball,
Sure.
so I had to tell the coach I might not be. He said, "Oh, that's okay, I understand." So I got one of the other football players, and we helped my dad unload. Linoleum is really heavy, and it was a big
sure.
roll. And his linoleum roller came, his cement came, his spreader that you spread it with, and his knife. And that was at Miller's Jewelry Store, which was here up until maybe about 10 years ago, and it isn't here anymore. But my father was just, everybody liked him.
Yeah.
He also sang he was the first tenor in the choir at St. Joseph Church,
Okay. Yeah.
which that's where I ended doing that too.
So did you learn to sing from him?
Well, I don't know. I sang in that choir 72 years,
Ah, there you go.
which I don't know whether anybody's going to beat that record.
That's a pretty good run.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good run. So,
What about your dad during the Depression? Tell him about that.
Please?
Tell him about your dad, Frank, during the Depression. Way back.
Well, that was all of us during the Depression. Of
Right.
course, I was a kid, and but my dad still went to work, and he got a check, but he couldn't cash it. And my mother used to keep the checks. But after Ewald's got back on their footing again, and they got their business. Well, they had business, but people couldn't pay for it.
right,
You know.
right.
And they gave him credit in the store. And that's how he got money. He sold his interest in the store then. That's how he got money to get his own business started.
Okay, okay.
Now, when he started, in fact, he started in our 2 front rooms at 165 Cove.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was the youngest in the family.
Okay.
I had an older brother and 2 older sisters.
Well, tell me about your brothers and sisters, their names and a little something about them, what happened to them in life.
Well, my brother Bob was the oldest in the family, and his name was Robert H. Lee.
Okay.
And he married a girl from Fostoria, and they had six 6 kids, and he died when I think he was only 51. So he left 6 kids pretty young.
Oh, boy.
And at that time, my father had died before that, and he and I then bought the store from my mother.
Okay.
That's how we got in.
All
Well,
right.
this was actually, we got into it after we both come home from the service. Anyhow, he worked and graduated from Heidelberg, which is here in Tiffin,
Okay.
the college.
Okay.
And then to do that, he worked for a company by the name of Isley's. They were nice cream, Klondikes today.
Sure.
They still
okay.
make
Sure.
Klondikes.
Sure. Okay.
Back in those days, though, if you got a pink Klondike, you got a free one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, well. And when he would be working, and I was a little kid, and I was, like in maybe the 2nd or 3rd grade, I'd run down there to Isley's and I'd sneak behind the counter and I'd go through those clocks, and then I'd find a pink one. Uh-oh, I'd get 2 for a nickel. I shouldn't tell you that. That's the truth.
Well,
Isley's isn't around much, but their headquarters used to be in Marion, Ohio.
Okay.
Because I know we used to go play golf in Marion they had a golf course years ago too. Well, that was my brother.
Sure.
He was a good guy too, really was. The only trouble with him was he smoked about 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and that's what killed him.
That'll do it.
Yeah. Then I had a sister by the name of Mary Louise, and she married a guy by the name of Tom Glick. And Tom had graduated from the University of Dayton. He went in the service as a 2nd lieutenant. He was a ROTC
Okay.
at the University of Dayton. And then my next sister was named Helen Rose. And she married a guy who also went in the Army. He went to Military Academy. It was the Virginia Military Academy.
Okay.
I
VMI.
think.
Okay.
And he came out as 2nd lieutenant. In fact, they were in the it was the cavalry when they went in.
Yeah.
But it was actually ended up the tank
Sure.
outfit.
Sure.
And they were at Augusta.
Oh, really? No
Yeah.
kidding.
Well, the Army, or the post they were at, was there at Augusta.
There you go.
I can't think of the name of it
Yeah.
right now.
Son of a gun.
And then I came around last. And I'll tell you a cute little story about when, we were Catholics and you always got baptized.
Right.
And I think I was born on a Thursday, but they said, we got to baptize him on Sunday. And I had a aunt and an uncle that lived in Toledo, and they were going to be my godparents. Well, we never had an automobile at home, and it got time that better get that baby to church because he's supposed to be baptized. Well, my grandpa says, I'll take him. So, okay, he takes me up to church, and the priest comes in. He says, okay, what's this boy's name? Grandpa says, well, I think we should call him Rush, because he says, all we've been doing is rushing around trying to get him. So he always called me Rush. He really did. He lived with us until I was in the 4th grade. Yeah. And I tell you, he and my mother were a pair.
That sounds like it.
But I want to tell you something great about my grandpa. I don't know did you come across the river downtown when you come in?
No, I don't think so.
Well, during the 1913 flood, all of downtown really got devastated. And my grandpa's bar was only like about a block away from the river,
Oh boy.
which it went up to the, I have a picture I can show you. It covered the whole first floor, the water. Back in those days, the river wasn't as wide, and they built right on the river.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, anyhow, he was also a city councilman. And he wanted to put walls up along the river.
Yeah.
And he argued, and he finally got a couple other guys that were councilmen. Anyhow, they got that voted in, and they put the walls in, and Tiffin has never had a flood downtown since.
There you go.
And
There you
those
go.
walls are still there.
Greatest insurance
That's pretty
policy in
good.
the world.
Now, when time come up for them to vote again, he didn't get voted in because he spent that money on those walls. that figure?
In the long run, he saved himself a lot of money. I think he made up for
That's
it.
right. But I'll tell you, he was something else. And they say his big problem was he was something like my dad.
Yeah.
He was too good to people. And people would take advantage of him.
Right.
Is that what? But I remember when I was a kid, and my grandpa, he always had a lot of old friends, you know, and they'd sit down in our basement, and he always had a big shoebox full of tobacco.
Yeah.
And they'd come down there and talk, and they'd really smoke their pipes. And I'll tell you, I'll show you once the way he would write. He would always, his name was Herkenrader, and he always made a face when he wrote a check. And the bank would not cash his check if his face wasn't written on that H.
Oh, really? Oh,
But that's the kind of a guy he was.
sure.
Anyhow, there was a guy that owed him some money, and he would come, well, maybe once every 3-4 months to our house, and he always had a little barrel, about like that. And you know, when I was a little kid, I thought, boy, I'd like to get that barrel. I could never see it. I saw the guy carry it down the basement, and he never brought it back up, and I couldn't figure it out. And finally, my dad told me. I told him, I said, what happens to all them little... He says, you know why you didn't see that? Because that was full of liquor. That's the way they were paying your grandpa off. But anyhow,
She had a speakeasy in the basement there.
he had good friends. He really did.
Well,
But as far as my dad goes, he is what I would say was a true gentleman.
Yeah.
He really was. Like we were talking yesterday here, and you know, like Millie and I used to belong to a bridge club, mixed bridge club. And like, you know, if we started, somebody didn't get there on time, and a couple, a husband and a wife would walk in. Hell, the men would all get up from their chair when a woman walked in the room.
Oh, yeah.
That's gone.
yeah, they sure did.
That's why I want to show you that picture of our bowling team.
Yeah, yeah, you do that now and somebody gets offended instead of the other way around. Yeah. Did you know your grandparents on the Lee side very well?
No, not really.
Okay.
Evidently my father's mother died when he was, I think, 4. And she died at childbirth. And he had 2 older sisters, and then my dad, and then his younger brother. And as far as my grandpa Lee, I never really knew him. But he took, after his wife died, he took the 2 older girls, and my dad was raised by an uncle, and his younger brother, who was just, well, they were just babies.
Right.
He was raised by another uncle. And then when my father got to be 6, I think my grandpa remarried. And then they wanted him to come back and be with them.
Right.
Well, he didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Because he was raised by his aunt and uncle, and he knew them.
Sure.
Well, he didn't know his dad really very well,
Yeah.
and he didn't know his new mother at all.
Wow.
So he had a tough life.
That
really.
would be. That would be.
Now, that grandpa, I think I'm pretty sure, I know, he was buried in Fostoria. I don't even think I can tell you his first name. You don't know, Millie? No.
Yeah.
But I didn't know him. I ended up, his 2 sisters already came to our house on Coast Street. His younger brother never did. But I know when his younger brother died, Millie and I my mom and dad were living, but my father never drove a car. And we took them to his brother's funeral. Yeah. And his 2 sisters, they lived way off. One lived in Minnesota and someplace else. We didn't see them very often. But I did not really know that grandma or grandpa, like I didn't know my mother's mother either.
Sure.
But I knew her dad.
What's the story on Tiffin back in those days? Growing up in Tiffin, what was the town like back then?
Well, of course, it was about the same size it is now.
Yeah.
Tiffin has not grown a lot. In fact, it has lost, if anything. But it is picking up now. Well, it was like on Saturday night, the downtown was jammed, just with people walking up and down. And the stores were always open till 9 o'clock on Saturday, back in those days. And but everybody walked downtown, and it was that way where Millie was born and raised over in Fremont.
Yeah.
She said they used to watch the people downtown too, just walking back and forth.
Sure.
But Tiffin was always a great city. It had 2 great schools, public school and Catholic high school, and all got along great and worked together. Tiffin's really a good town, still that way.
Yeah, Anderson was that way when I was a kid. It was the
Sure.
place to be, and
Yeah.
a lot of people kind of
And
missed
there
those
was
days.
never, why heck, I know at home, guys, well, even when in our home on Grove Street, we never locked our doors, never.
Yeah.
And never had any trouble.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll remember this. My dad always got up early, and he always got breakfast ready. Of course, he went to work like at 8 o'clock. He was down at the store.
Sure.
Anyhow, this morning, he goes down, and geez, there's somebody sitting in a chair in the living room. He didn't know him, and then the man next door was up, so he went over and said, "Come on over, see if you know this guy sitting." He didn't know him either. And they had a hard time waking him up. So anyhow, they thought, well, maybe we should call the police.
Yeah.
So anyhow, the policeman comes, and he knew him right away. Then he told the policeman, well, he just got lost, and he thought he was home, but he walked in our house. So you know what the policeman did? They took him home. He went to bed. Now today, that poor guy, he's getting all kinds of trouble.
Jail, or
But
somebody would have
that's
shot him.
how
Or...
Tiffin used to be.
That's funny. That's funny. You mentioned the river. Now, I know all boys are curious about rivers. Did you play down by the river very much, or?
Well, when I was a Boy Scout, our church, St. Joe's, they had a cabin out there, and then we built another cabin out there, and Boy Scouts used to go out there.
Yeah.
We'd go out there and go swimming. It was about, we would walk maybe a mile and a half out there.
Okay.
Of course, today you'd catch heck doing that, but we would always walk out there, you know. And in fact, when I was a senior in high school, I became an assistant scoutmaster for a while.
Oh.
And then I was after, of course, then in high school I got into sports, and that sort of goofed that up. But when I was, right after I graduated, they wanted me to come back, and I did a little, and then I went in the service, you know.
Yeah. Good organization. Now,
Oh, yeah.
when you were a boy, did you have any childhood heroes? It could be a baseball player or
Oh.
cowboy or somebody in the family or the community you kind of looked up to.
Sure. We had Babe Ruth, you know.
That's a good one.
Now, we never had a baseball.
Yeah.
In fact, nobody in my neighborhood had a bat. And I had a neighbor next door who moved in town from the farm. And he had a lathe. And he said to me one day, he says, you know what? He said, you kids don't have a bat, do you? Or a ball. I said, no. Well, he says, I'm going to make you a bat. And by gosh, he made a bat and gave it to me. And that was the only bat we had in the whole neighborhood. And we all used that bat. And then, see, my brother was old enough, like he had a ball glove.
Right.
Well, hell, we never had I never had a ball glove.
Yeah.
And he was left-handed, and I was right, so I couldn't use that. But it didn't have a baseball either.
Yeah.
But somebody got a hold of a softball in our neighborhood, but it was coming apart. And I thought, I knew my dad, when he worked at Ewald's, they would like install carpet, and they had crooked needles. And I thought, by gosh, I wonder if my dad would bring one of them needles home. I'll bet you I can sew that darn ball back together. You know, along.
Sure,
It was still there, but it was sort of, in places there wasn't any more thread.
Yeah.
So about every 2 weeks, my dad would have to bring that needle home, and I'd sew that ball up. But anyhow, that was the only, nobody had anything then.
But
We
you-
used to play cowboy and Indian, but we did like to play, we would play softball, it was called
Yeah.
then. I mean, this ball wasn't hard like the softballs are now, because it got hit a lot, you know. And there was a Hedges Park that was not too far from where I lived. Now, you were not supposed to play there because the guy that left the park was supposed to be for a park to walk in, and they had benches to sit in.
Right.
Well, the police would come and say, you kids, somebody would call, some older couple or something, say, you kids, would you just quit a while and then you come back later? That's what we would do.
Good for
Because
them.
they knew that was the only place we could play.
Sure.
And that wasn't too far from where I lived. And all the kids knew each other, you know.
Yeah.
That's about the only game we had. And then, I know what else we did. Down there at Ewald's, where my dad lived, they would get rugs, and there would be bamboo poles in the middle.
Sure. Yeah.
And I seen these guys high jump already. You know, you go over a bar.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, hell, we can do that. So I got two, what they were what my dad used in the garden for tomato plants.
Yeah.
And he had a point on the bottom of it, and I got one of them, and I put nails in it.
Yeah.
The only trouble is I didn't get them just exactly the two the same. I got them started right, but then I pounded the one in a little further than the other. But finally I got it. And then I had that pole, I could put that on. And so we high jumped in our backyard. That's something else we did. But it was all homemade.
Yeah. So,
But nobody felt bad about it, because nobody in the neighborhood had anything more either.
well, you didn't have any video games. You didn't have a cell phone. But I bet you never once said, "I'm bored."
No, no.
You had
we
fun.
played a lot.
That was
ran.
fun.
Oh. Of course, that scout stuff but kept us busy when we got
sure.
in that, too. But this was my neighbors in the summertime, when you weren't going to school.
Do you have a radio?
I had a radio, and we had a radio at home.
Yeah.
In fact, I used to lay underneath it and listen like to the Cleveland Indians.
There you go.
And Bob Feller came up, like when I was in grade school, and I think it was Hank Greenberg. He played for the Detroit Tigers then. But I was an Indian fan.
Oh, I'll bet.
Because my dad, he loved baseball.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll tell you a good one about my mother. She didn't care too much for baseball, but my dad, he would listen to baseball when he got a chance all the time. And he would find out when they were having double headers at Cleveland. So one of us kids, they didn't have a car, and he didn't drive. What he would do, they would get a room at the Hotel Cleveland, which was right in the middle of downtown.
Okay.
And then they would walk to the game, and they would go there a week that they had double headers. And my poor mother, she sat through all those darn games, but she did it. And then I'll tell you one good one. Millie and I, we would take turns, my brother and my two sisters, they were all in Tiffin then. We'd go up and see them, and we'd have to take them up and then bring them back home. So Millie and I went up there, and with our two boys. They were the only ones that were born yet then. And we had a room just 2 doors from my mom and dad. And we stayed at the Hotel Cleveland that night. And Jim and John, that's our two oldest kids, our two boys.
Yeah.
Of course, there was a shower there, shower stall. Well, hell, we never had a shower at home, So anyhow, they were in the shower playing, and we thought and we told them, we're going to go down and see Grandma and Grandpa for a minute. Well, we were down there maybe 10 minutes or so. We come back, and we see water coming out of the door.
Oh, no.
One of them sat on the drain so that it didn't go out, and the water come out in the room, and that's all we had. But the people there at the hotel were very nice. But I'll never forget that when they saw that water coming out the door.
I bet they didn't forget you either. Holy smokes! Wow.
But anyhow, we had a great childhood. I mean,
sounds like it.
yeah. And when my dad always worked till 9 o'clock on Saturday night. And every Saturday, he would bring home a bag of peanuts that you crack and eat them.
Yeah.
And we never ate until he got home. And we always had Limburger cheese on rye bread and onion and beer. My dad had a 50-gallon crock in the basement that he made beer with.
Yeah.
And I can remember my uncle from Toledo that was supposed to be my godfather, which he was.
Yeah.
He had on his car, the back of the car, repeal the 18th Amendment. And I didn't know what the heck that was, and then they told me, and by gosh, they did back in those days. You know, you couldn't go in a bar and buy a beer. They weren't allowed to sell.
Yeah, you sure couldn't. Yeah.
But my childhood was great. I had a great mom and dad. I really did. They
Means a
had,
lot.
I don't know how, they had tough
got plenty.
times. Same way with Millie's mom and dad. They were great, but they made things work.
Yeah. Yeah. Where'd you go to school?
I went to grade school. I went to, it was at that time it was called St. Joseph's.
Okay.
And that was to the 8th grade. Then I went to Calvert, which was the Catholic high school. And that's what I graduated from.
Okay. You remember any of your teachers along the way?
They were all nuns.
Then boot camp was easy for you, right?
Well, now just let me tell you something here. When I was in high school, I sort of thought maybe I'd be a priest.
Okay.
And I had only had 2 years of Latin when I was a freshman and a sophomore.
Yeah.
And our homeroom teacher thought, he should have more Latin. So she taught me 3rd year Latin at noontime.
Oh, boy.
And I got a slip of paper where she says, I passed 3rd year Latin.
Do you still
Anyhow,
speak it?
I didn't do that. In fact, I'll tell you this story too, if you want to hear
Go ahead.
it. They heard this.
Tell
So
it. I like it.
we had a play or something when I was a senior, and I was walking out of the hall, you know, and the principal was ahead of me. I said, Father, you know, I'd like to talk to you sometime. Oh, okay, Louie, he says, why don't you just come on in? I don't have anything right now. So I walked in there then, and I stood, you know, in front of his desk, and he was sitting there. Well, he says, Louie, what did you want to talk to me about? I says, well, Father, I'd like to be a priest. He says, Louie, sit down. He says, I'll tell you right now, you'll never make it because you like to have too much fun. So
We got two.
that sort of went out and then he explained it the whole thing. I mean, he was nice about it,
Sure,
you
yeah.
know. But I sort of well, and then what happened, believe it or not, did you ever hear of St. Joe College, Rensselaer,
Yeah.
Indiana?
Yeah, sure have.
Okay, I had been out, I was a senior in high school at the time. And a priest came to our house. And he says, he wanted to, you know, my mom and dad were there and this priest. And he says, well, we want you to come to St. Joe's. Now he says, you have to play football. And he says, there's one thing, you're going to have to pay for your books and you have to sweep the hall, but we'll take care of the rest.
Got one.
Well, anyhow, then about a month later, he come back. He says, I haven't heard anything from you. Well, he says, I tell you what we're going to do. He says, you're not going to have to pay for your books, but you still got to just sweep the hall. And you got to also go out for basketball.
Oh.
Well, our school, our little school, at that time, I don't know whether St. Joe's is still there. But it was it was an all-boy college.
Yeah, yeah.
And
We
Our-
quit.
And we were at St. Joe College, and it's an all-boys school.
okay,
So I sent her.
at the high school I went to, I played basketball there too, and football. And when I was a junior, our basketball team from Calvert went out and played. They had a all-boy high school there too, plus the college at the time. We played in the preliminary of the college game.
Oh, really?
So that's how they got to know me, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
And then when I was a junior, we did that. And then when I was a senior, we went out there again and played. And we got the heck beat out of us both games. But anyhow, that's how I think that, anyhow, I did not go to St. Joe's.
Okay.
And, of course, my dad had been then 2 years in his new business, his floor covering store. And, of course, he had me helping out all I could, you know. And I graduated from high school on Friday evening. Monday morning, I got on a train and went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I was there 3 weeks, and they taught me all about how to install linoleum.
Okay.
That was the Armstrong Cork factory.
Oh, sure,
I went
yeah. And
anyhow,
well,
I did
how
real
old
good there.
How old were you when you did this?
I was 18.
You were 18. Okay, so you just graduated high school, or?
Yes, I
Okay.
just got out of high
Okay.
school.
All right.
I was 18 when I got out.
Okay.
Well, anyhow, then I worked for my dad maybe, don't hold me to this, maybe 3 months. And then I had a couple of, well, I also had another job that I got when I was a junior. The lady next door to us worked at the Ritz Theater, which is still downtown. Then it was pretty brand new.
Yeah.
And she said, say, they're going to need a couple of new ushers. You ought to go down. Maybe you'd get a job there. Yeah. Well, I went down, and I know I got the job because of her. So the manager I really liked. He was a great guy. The assistant manager I thought was pretty tough. So he talked to me. He says, now, you know, you got to be dressed right when you come here to be an usher. You got to have a white shirt on, you got to have a tie, you got to have a sport coat, and your shoes got to shine. Well, anyhow, I got the job.
Yeah.
And the first day, I was going to work on a Sunday and work till close. Mm-hmm. So I went down there about 2 o'clock, and I got my brother's sport jacket because I don't think I had one. It was a little big for me. But, well, anyhow, I go down, and this assistant manager says, well, come on in the office. I want to talk to you a minute.
Wait a minute.
What's going on?
There we go. I missed. It's not on a DVD. It's on the tape.
Okay, we'll remake that. That's no
Go ahead,
problem.
We'll remake it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Anyhow, he says, well, you got your white shirt and your tie. That's good. Oh, and he says, by gosh, your shoes shine. He says, that's great. Okay. He says, okay, now you're going to work in the balcony. And he says, you're going to work till close. So he says, now, so when you get finished, you have to go sweep out the men's restroom and sweep out the ladies' restroom. I thought, gee. Well, anyhow, I said, okay. Now, he says, I'm going to give you a flashlight. He says, you have to have that flashlight up in the balcony to sit to people. And he told me all about it. Now he says, I want to tell you this. If you see a guy put his arm around a girl sitting next to him, You shine that light on him and tell him he can't do that in here. No. I knew a lot of those people. You know, hell, I was just a junior in high school. I wasn't going to shine a light on somebody. Well, I never did do that. Well, anyhow, I'll have to tell you this, what I got paid. So I went down there on a Saturday, then I worked the next Saturday too. I've got this, but I don't know what I did with it. A little brown envelope like that.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many hours I worked, but I made 11 cents an hour. And that was a lot of money.
Sure.
I was sitting on top of the world. So that was my first job. Then I want to tell you about that grandpa of mine. I'll tell you just one story.
Okay.
Well, he was in there tending bar this day, and there were about 4 guys sitting there at the bar talking to him, and they were drinking beer, you know, and it was like in November. And this one guy says, you know, those nuns down at the Ursuline nuns had a building there in Tiffin that they had an all-girls school. In fact, that's the school my mother went to.
Okay.
Anyhow, this guy says, I'll bet those nuns won't even have turkey for Thanksgiving. Grandpa says, listen, I will see that they get a dressed turkey Thanksgiving. The other guy says, well, how are you going to do that? He says, I can do it and I'll take care of it. Come Thanksgiving morning, he's got the biggest turkey he can find. He ties a nice bow around its neck, and then he has like a rope on it that's about 10 foot long, and he puts a dress on the turkey, and he puts a hat on the turkey, and he puts little boots on it. He gets to the convent, the front door, and he goes up on the porch and he knocks on the door, and the nun comes, and he had told him he was going to bring him a dressed turkey. And he hands her the rope and says, here, sister, this is your dressed turkey, and he walks off the porch. In those days, you didn't do things like that to nuns, believe me. That's the kind of a guy I came from. That was my grandpa. Well, anyhow, now where do you want to go?
Well, I heard
I
about
can tell you some more of his stories, but I won't.
well, I heard about a church fire, but I'm afraid to ask about it now.
Well, this is when I was in the 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Our next door neighbor come over, and he says, hey, I heard the church has been on fire. My brother and I went up to our attic and opened up the front window, and you could see the steeple from there. And hell, we couldn't see the steeple. So, this was, I don't know, like 6:30 or something in the morning. My brother and I get dressed, and we ran up to church, you know, and hell, all the fire departments were there. In fact, the place was burning. What happened, the lightning hit it.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And the pigeons used to nest up in the tower.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of stuff up there that shouldn't have been there, you know.
Yeah.
And that's where they made their nests and everything. And I don't know what they wanted me to tell you about it, but what they wouldn't let, I mean, we weren't supposed to go into the church or nothing, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it was still burning like mad.
Yeah.
And so what they would do, like they would bring statues, they were bringing out people, and then I would tell them where to take them, and then I snuck in church myself. And there used to be a candle, that big, came down from the ceiling, and that had fallen down, and I thought, I'm going to get that gold chain.
Yeah.
It's about 20 foot long.
Yeah.
I got it, and I did get it home. But it was at home in the closet when I went in the service.
Oh boy.
When I come home 3 years later, it was gone. I never did find out what happened to it. But anyhow, some gal came here, like you two, and talked to me, and they made a movie out of it about the church
Oh really?
fire. Yeah.
Did you tell them about the gold chain?
Oh, sure, I told them.
Oh boy.
But that was awful. But the
Yeah.
whole city helped St. Joe's. Really did. Whole city helped them.
Yeah, we
But
had-
anyhow, you asked me about what school, and then I went to the Calvert High School. That's where I graduated from. And that's where the principal told me I'd never make it to be a priest.
So
Well, you know, he just says, Louie, you have too much fun.
He took two girls to
Huh?
a dance one
He
day.
must have been like Mark.
You had to take two girls to one of the dances.
Oh, this
At the
was
same
our
time?
homeroom teacher. You know, in our class there were more girls than boys.
okay.
But she just had boys in this class. That was our homeroom teacher. And she says, I want to talk to you boys tonight. She says, it only take 5 minutes. And she says, well, it was time for the junior-senior prom. And that was the first dance at the high school, junior-senior prom. She says, now, I don't know, there were 6 or 8 more girls in the class than boys. Now, she says, I don't think that it's fair that all those girls do not get asked to go to the junior-senior prom. And she says, I want some of you boys take 2 girls. And she says, if you don't take 2 girls, at least ask another girl.
Yeah.
So anyhow, a friend of mine and myself, his dad sold cars. So he got to drive an old Stutz. Remember a
Sure.
Stutz?
Oh yeah.
He had 2 girls and I had 2 girls, and we went to the junior senior prom. That's what they wanted. But I thought about that, and you know, at the time I thought that's sort of dumb. But it was very nice of that nun to say that.
It was.
And to
It
get
was.
those girls. So every girl in that class, and there were either 6 or 8 more girls than boys.
Yeah.
Now, not all of them went, even though they were asked, you know. But I think there were 4 of us that had 2 girls.
Yeah. It'd be. Yeah, it'd be hard to talk a teenage boy into taking 2 girls, wouldn't it?
That's right. So we weren't too bad at kids, but at the time we thought, gee whiz.
Oh boy.
Well, this guy, I already had a date, but I asked another one.
Yeah.
I had 2 and he had 2. And
Oh, boy.
we didn't know too much about dancing then either.
No, well, yeah. Yeah, that would have been my downfall. I wasn't very good at that.
Well, anyhow, I never did go to St. Joe's.
Yeah.
That's the college.
Okay.
Because I don't know how long it was. First thing I did with 2 of my buddies, they worked at the Ritz too. In fact, they were freshmen at Heidelberg.
Yeah.
Most of the people that worked at the Ritz Theater in those days were Heidelberg students, and they were all athletes.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, I decided, I was talking to these 2 guys, and they says, well, why don't we join the Naval Air Corps? I said, okay.
Yeah.
So I can't remember whether it was Cleveland. I think it was Cleveland we went to. And to a place where you went to join the Naval Air Corps. Well, they examined the 3 of us. And was quite an exam. And they told the one guy, says, oh, you got to have your teeth fixed, and there was something else wrong with him. And the other guy, he was fine, they said. He come to me, he says, you need to get a couple of teeth fixed. Plus, he says, we can't take you because your blood pressure's too high.
Oh,
So I gave up the Naval Air Corps right then and there.
I thought you were going to say they wouldn't take you because you were having too much fun. the priest won't take you. We're not gonna. Boy.
So anyhow, I worked for my dad until
Yeah.
I went in the service.
Okay, now you graduated high school in 41?
Yeah.
All right. And you graduated before Pearl Harbor then?
No, Pearl Harbor. In fact, I was working at the Ritz on the Sunday afternoon that happened.
Okay, okay.
And I'll never forget it because we thought, oh, hell, we'll take care of those Japanese in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you know,
Sure.
that's what, as a kid, that's what I thought we'd do.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out that way.
No, sure didn't. Sure didn't.
No.
And then after you went.
I don't know how long it was. Maybe it was 6 months.
Okay.
But I worked for my dad, and I also worked at the Ritz
Okay.
until I went to the Army.
So when did you actually go into service? 42?
No, I think it was in 42.
Yeah. That'd be about right.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And were you drafted or did you enlist?
No, I was drafted.
Okay.
See, they took 18. They took you.
Okay. So,
Oh, no, my dad and mother wanted me to work at the store.
well, yeah, I
I
bet.
was out installing linoleum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they, did you get any choice of which branch of service to go into, or did they just say you're going to the Army?
No, I don't think I did. In fact, I still remember that day a friend of mine who was a year older, but he played basketball and went to Calvert, and we walked down to the Shawn Hotel, and that's where you got on the bus, and we went to Camp Perry.
Okay.
Oh,
And
garden spot.
I don't think that from there, we were at Camp Perry maybe 3 days, and then we got on the train and went to not Fort Lauderdale, on the other coast. No. Well,
In Florida,
No,
Florida
I
or
can't think so.
Florida or California?
Florida.
In Florida? Okay.
Pensacola,
No.
that's naval.
That's naval. Tampa
I was,
or?
I was only there a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and I lived in a hotel.
Yeah.
Then from there, I got on a train,
Yeah.
went to California, to San Diego, and I was put in the Signal Corps.
Okay.
When we got to San Diego, we were supposed to live in, and of course there were no Army guys there.
Yeah.
It was full of Marines
Oh,
and
yeah.
full of sailors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyhow, where we were supposed to live was in Balboa Park, which is still there.
Okay.
And the zoo was there then too, which is one of the biggest zoos
Sure.
in the world, the
Yeah.
way I get it. Well,
So you in barracks or you were in tents?
we were in tents in Florida,
Okay.
but here they were building barracks, so we stayed in the locker rooms of the football stadium.
Did you really?
And I know we got in free to a couple of games that they played at home. Now, we were only there maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I can't tell you. Then we moved into the new barracks at Balboa Park. Now, back then, San Diego was not very big.
Yeah.
I was there maybe, I don't know, maybe a month and a half, and
Yeah.
doing all kinds of stuff.
Now, where'd you have your boot camp? Where'd you do your basic training?
I don't know as if I ever did any.
Okay.
Although I think on my thing it says I passed rifle shooting or something.
Okay. Yeah, because in the early days of the wars, they were very disorganized and just throwing things together.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, they told me that I was going to go out on a little island, that I was in like the Signal Air Warning Battalion,
Okay.
and learned how to operate a radar unit.
All right.
Well, I didn't think that was so bad, so they took us, I think it was either LA or San Francisco, and I'd say this was probably a little destroyer. And this, our company already had a radar unit on this island.
Okay.
We were at one, there was nothing on that island but cactus plants. And at the other end of the island, the Marines were there.
Yeah.
And they had a fair-sized base, and they had a PX. Well, once a week, this little unit I was with, we had like a cook. He'd go there and get material, and then that's how we'd eat.
Right.
And I says, can I ride with you sometime? And then the guy says, oh, a couple guys says, bring me a couple bottles of beer from that PX. Well, I thought, sure. So I go in the Marine PX, and I think I tried to get about 10 bottles of beer. The guy says, I can't sell you that. I said, well, why? He says, let me see your ID. And I wasn't old enough to buy beer. Now, can you believe that? That's the truth. I tell you.
You can get shot at, but you can't.
I was on that island, I don't know, probably 6, 8 weeks, and you would get in this radar unit there. You had to make it go around. It didn't go around by itself, and then you read the asthma and that by yourself through
Yeah.
there. But they just wanted you to have an idea of that. So I get back to camp then, or back to San Diego, and I'm there another, I don't know, couple of weeks. Then they sent me to Sacramento to a radio school.
Ah.
And there they taught me that did, which we never really used much. Well, then I saw a sign where it said, get in, be a paratrooper. I thought, hell, that's what I'd like to do. So I went there, and they checked me out, and a nurse checked me out, and she says, you can't be a paratrooper. I said, well, what do you mean? She says, your blood pressure's way too high. Oh, I said, come on. I says, I want to join the paratroopers. Well, she says, okay. This was like on a Wednesday or something. She says, I'm going to be here early Monday. You come here early, and she says, your blood pressure should be better.
Yeah.
So I went early. I don't know how I did this, but I did it. No, she says, you can't pass. Ah. I says, well, give me one more try. Okay. So I went back again. Oh, she said, it's okay. So she says, all right. She says, I'll sign you up. She did. She says, now they'll probably call you and you'll go to Fort Benning, Georgia. I thought, oh, good. So I get back to camp, and I told I think he was a first lieutenant, he was the head of it. I said, I just joined the Bear Troopers and I'm going to go to Fort Benning. He said, what are you talking about? Well, I said, I did, I signed up. He says, I'll tell you this. For about the last 4 months, we've been training you to do something else. And he says, we're leaving in a day to go overseas.
Oh,
and he
boy.
says, you're going with us. So I went with him.
Oh,
And then I got on a train, we went to Newport News, Virginia. And that's where we got on the boat.
you crisscrossing the country. The Army
That's
does
right.
that. They send you here, they
Crisscross
send
the
you over there, and they
country.
send you back there, and they send you.
There's only one thing that happened. When I was on that train,
Yeah.
we went through a little town by the name of Bascom. And that was only 3 miles from Tiffin.
Oh, okay.
And one of the guys knew I was from Tiffin, and he saw that sign, and he yelled and yelled, hey, there's Tiffin, Ohio. But by that time, we were through it.
Yeah.
But that was the closest I got to Tiffin.
Wow.
Anyhow, the railroad track goes right through. Not through Tiffin then, but it went through Bascom. Bascom's still there.
Huh. Son of a gun.
So anyhow, that was before I went overseas. Then we got on the boat there at Newport News, Virginia. And
So what military unit were you in? What division?
I don't think I was in. All I knew was I was in the 182nd Signal Air Corps Warning Battalion.
Okay.
I'm sure that's right. And one thing I will remember is walking on that boat, and I thought, geez, wonder if I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
All right, I got on that boat about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 7 o'clock I was heaving. we hadn't even left dock.
Oh, no.
Well, we finally left and we got into a convoy.
Yeah.
And I would say, I don't know, I know it took at least 30 days, maybe 31.
Wow.
That we landed in, actually, we really first stopped in Sicily. Then we really got off the boat. It was in Italy. And I know that was, the British were there.
Yeah.
And we slept there in a tent that night. Next morning they woke 3 of us up. 3 of us.
Yeah.
And they said, you're being shipped to another outfit. You're on detached service.
Okay. All right.
Oh, well, I didn't even know what the hell detached service was, to be honest with you. So we got on this train and we went to Naples.
Okay, hold on. I want to back up a little bit. What kind of a ship did you go over on? Was it a regular troop ship or a
No.
converted liner or a,
No,
What?
I tell you what that was. Let me tell you about that boat trip.
Yeah. Okay.
We were all in a hole down below. And I don't know, I know maybe there was 120 of us. And it was the North Pacific in the wintertime. And that boat, I'm telling you, it rocked. And when you got something to eat, you know, they were up and they were screwed to the floor.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Each night those screws would come out and those things would flop back and forth. And that latrine, everybody, I would say
Oh,
that
yeah.
98% of the guys were sick. And I was one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I wondered. I mean, you were sick at the dock. I wondered if you got sick out in the ocean. It sounds like it continued.
Oh
huh?
no, I got sick. I was sick all the time for probably, I don't know, I would say 2 weeks.
Wow. And you wanted to join the Navy?
Well, I didn't know I was, you know. Anyhow, finally, I found out they wanted somebody for KP. And I know my brother always told me, he said, never volunteer for nothing in the Army.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I haven't had too much good luck yet. So I volunteered. And boy, was that smart.
Was it really?
I got to go up, and the Merchant Marines, they had a dining room table like, and they had a menu, and I got a menu yet. They had a menu what to order. No, that's the truth.
There you go.
And all I had to do then was pick up the plates, and I would go in the kitchen and wash them. But I found out where the food was.
Amen.
First thing, the first day, I got a whole box of crackers,
Yeah.
and a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Wasn't long, I knew almost everybody downstairs. Well, anyhow, I had that job the rest of the way, believe me, and it was all together, but they never let us out of that hole. That was awful.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like a dream.
When we got into the Mediterranean, they did, and this boat got a hole in it. It didn't get hit by the convoy.
Yeah.
I mean, the convoy had trouble, but didn't happen to us. Every morning, they would patch that hole. By night, the hole was back and the water would come in.
That'll instill confidence.
But anyhow, we landed then in Italy is when we got off the boat.
Okay, now, it sounds like the North Africa campaign was over, and they had
That's
invaded.
correct.
They had invaded Sicily. Had they captured Sicily at this point?
Yes,
Okay, it was secure, and now they were going to send you to Naples.
that's right.
Don't go to Naples. That's a dangerous place.
Well, that's when we found out we were put on detached service.
Okay.
I didn't know what detached service was. I found out, and we were on detached service, and it was either the 45th or the 36th Infantry Division. But I was still in that Signal Air Warning Battalion.
Okay.
And what they did, I was with a group of guys that had been in Africa. They were all older,
Okay.
and a lot of them, 2 of them were attorneys,
Huh.
and they called me the kid. Well, they did,
Yeah.
and they were all older than me, but they were really nice guys. Anyhow, I got with, there were 3 little outfits, and one would be at the front, one would be in the middle, and one would be at the rear. Well, I think we ended up in the middle at first. Then I went back to headquarters, which was at Naples.
Okay.
And of course, I knew the guys. Our old outfit, they were there. So, this one guy I was with, his name was Stan Preble. We went to headquarters, and this one guy there, the guy he knew me from San Diego. He says, "Hey, Lee," he says, "I saved your neck." I says, "What do you mean?" Well, he says, "They were carrying you AWL at Fort Benning, Georgia."
Oh, no.
He says, "No, he's not at Fort Benning, Georgia, because I know he got on a boat and he's over in Italy."
Oh, come on.
Well, anyhow, that passed. But then what we would do, they would give us a grid coordinates. And then we would go wherever that grid coordinates was.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how we did it, but we did it. But there was either 12, what you had to do, you had to know how to run a Cigaba, which was coded and decoded messages.
Okay.
You had to run a teletype machine, and hell, I never took typing or nothing.
Yeah.
Well, but you know, I did it.
Yeah.
And we had a ground telephone sometimes, and then you had a radio, dit, which we didn't use that much.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, we were at, I did find my brother-in-law, who was the guy that went in as a second lieutenant. He was at Naples, and I did find him. He was one of the few guys I found
Huh.
that I knew that, you know, that was in the service.
Right.
But anyhow, there was 3 of us guys that were in this one outfit. One of us had to be on duty all the time. And how we would move, we had a 2.5-ton truck because we always had a generator and gasoline or we couldn't operate. And we had a Jeep.
Okay.
Well,
3.
Oh, yeah.
and but I got along great with these guys. I think I was the only guy on that 12 guys that didn't have any college. Well, I mean, you know, I just didn't.
Yeah.
But they were very nice to me. As I told you, they always called me the kid.
Yeah.
And I was a little gutsy in those days, so.
Was headquarters far enough back that you were away from the shelling and what have
Well,
you?
when we were at the front, we were there.
Yeah.
We were at Casino.
Yeah.
At Casino is the only place I ever was that they couldn't bury the guys fast enough. It stunk. Now, we didn't go up the hill, but we were about maybe a mile back.
There wasn't much of a rear area there.
No.
I mean, the artillery would reach back into the harbor for that.
Yeah. We were at Casino. I don't know exactly how long we were there. Well, we would move a lot. I mean, we started not much past Naples, and then we kept going up. And then they finally sent us to Anzio.
Okay. Oh, boy.
And we were there about 6 weeks, and we lived in a whole. The people that were there before us had the equipment all buried, and we were in a hole. That's where we lived.
Right. I just lived in a bunker.
And we were there. I don't know. It was either 6 or 8 weeks. And this one morning, the infantry, and I think it was the 45th Infantry Division,
Okay.
broke out and went into Rome. And we got there at noontime.
Did you really?
We got there at noontime, and they were just going to have a parade. Oh, and these girls would come up and hug you and kiss you. And they really were glad to see Americans.
Oh, I bet.
They really were. Yeah. And then from then, we didn't stay in Rome long. We went on.
You were telling me about a friend of yours, Stan?
Stan Preble and Shorty Cannon, the 3 of us were the 3 that were put on detached service with these guys that had been in Africa,
Okay.
the older guys.
Okay. How much did you hear?
Well, this one time when we went back to Naples, we thought we'd go. They had a movie theater there. That's what made me think of it.
All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And we went to this movie. Millie, can you help me? The guy that wrote the song, Over There.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
James Cagney played the part.
Well, he was a pretty famous guy.
Yeah. No,
So-
it wasn't Berlin. It was James Cagney played it. Yankee Doodle Dandy was a movie.
Well, I'll just tell you what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
At this
I know who it
time,
is.
he was not real young,
Yeah.
but we didn't know he was even in the theater. But we were in the theater, and before the movie started, he was in the movie.
George N. Cohan.
Yeah.
There
And
you go.
Yeah, I just,
he comes singing down the aisle,
Yes,
and
really?
we just couldn't get over it. And I thought, boy, what a thrill that is,
Wow.
you know.
Wow. That's $1 million story right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And then another thing, the movie, I had a cousin that lived in Norwalk, Ohio,
Yeah.
and he was younger than me, but he was in this darn movie just as a. I said to the guy, Stan, I said, Stan, that's a cousin of mine. He couldn't believe it either. In the movie.
That's strange. What are the odds
But
of that?
anyhow, that was quite a thrill for us.
Oh, sure.
And then, see, we weren't even supposed to be back there, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of us had to be on duty all the time.
Yeah.
And we really worked hard. I'm not kidding you.
I'm sure you did.
And we tried to do everything we could. And we got up as far as Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Okay.
That's how far we got up.
Wow.
Okay. So now we're there, and then they say, oh, we're going to move you back to Naples. So they brought their own 2.5-ton truck, and there was a black guy that was the truck driver.
Yeah.
And we piled all our stuff on there. We had our Jeep on the back of that and all of our equipment.
Okay.
And we were supposed to sit in the truck with him or maybe sit in the Jeep on the back, see? And I said to Stan, why don't we sit on top of the cab? So we got a rope and tied it so we could hold on to that.
Yeah.
But still, we jarred, up and down, up and down. We got to Naples, and I was sicker than hell.
Oh,
And they
you don't
said,
travel
you better
well, do
go
you?
to the sick bay.
Yeah.
So the next morning I went. And the doctor says, I think you got appendicitis.
Oh, no. Oh.
He says, you gone to bed. Well, I went to bed. This was in a big tent, but it was a GI hospital is what it was there at Naples. And now he says, we're going to check you every hour. And he says, tonight we're going to wake you up every hour and check you. Well, okay, because I didn't feel very good, I'll tell you.
I'll bet.
Okay, they checked me the whole night. The doctor that next morning, he was there about 7:30. He says, well, I don't think you have appendicitis, but you're going to stay here a day or two. Well, about 9:30, my two buddies, they knew where I was. They came to the hospital. They said, hey, Louie, we're supposed to get on a boat this afternoon at 1 o'clock. They said, boy, if you want to go, you better come with us.
Yeah.
So I got dressed and went with them. So they missed me in the hospital.
Yeah.
But the guy said, he's not AWOL. They told him. So his two friends came and they wanted to get on the boat, and that's where I was.
You about got it a second time.
Well, anyhow, we get on the boat, and I don't know, we were on it maybe an hour or so, and who comes along our boat and waves at it was Winston Churchill.
No kidding, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he just wanted to congratulate us, and
Wow.
we didn't really know where we were going, and we were not a fighting outfit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, You'll get a kick out of this. There was a priest on this boat, and he had on the bullet board he was going to have a mass the next morning. So I thought, oh, heck, I'll go to that mass and maybe I can serve for him. And I did. And there were at the most, I don't know, say 10 guys there. Next morning, I went again to the mass. There were maybe 8 guys there. And that afternoon, they told us we were going in on D-Day. Next morning, hell, you couldn't get in the room.
Yeah.
It was jammed full of guys going to church.
Hear that?
And that's the God's truth. I'll never forget that. And then that priest said to me afterwards, see, those guys started to think that something might happen to them.
Yeah.
So anyhow, then our boat left, and we went in on the invasion of southern France.
Okay.
And I would say the biggest thrill I got there was crawling down that dumb rope ladder and getting in one of them little boats that took us to shore.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find nothing. We couldn't find that truck that was supposed to have all our stuff
Oh
in
boy.
it. So we didn't go too far in. But I mean, of course, when we were out there before we got in the boat, they shelled the living hell out of it.
Yeah.
And they bombed it, they did everything. I mean, that wasn't like northern France.
Right.
But it was pretty bad for us.
Yeah.
We thought.
I mean, did you get any
With
heavy
our
resistance?
guys firing, that there was some, I mean, the infantry didn't just go right in.
Right. Okay. So there was resistance.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyhow, we only got in, I don't know, maybe 3,000 feet, and we stayed that night behind a house. Then we finally found our stuff the next day. And we were this was Saint-Tropez
Okay.
in southern
Yeah.
France. And what's the name of the town that all the bigwigs go to, the movie people? It's on the coast.
Monte Carlo or?
Monte Carlo. That's
Okay.
where we were supposed to be.
Oh, really?
Well, they didn't miss it by too much. So we went to Monte Carlo, and on our way there was a Marine in a command car. He was a colonel. He wasn't driving. We went around the corner, and we got hit, and I ended up on the pavement, and I got my 2 front teeth knocked out.
Ooh. Ouch.
Which, you know, I was young, and hell, I thought, Well, they didn't do much then. But anyhow, then we joined our regular, we were back with our outfit again.
Okay. You got hit. You got hit with an artillery shell? Or
No.
What?
The guy was coming from from
Oh, okay. Okay. So a car accident.
It's a car accident on the way.
Okay.
Well, you can imagine the way it was.
Oh yeah.
And
Colonel,
of
get
course,
out
he
of the
didn't
way.
pay much attention. He was in a hurry to go wherever he was going.
Oh boy.
Anyhow, then we got squared around, and I don't know when I got a partial plate, but I did.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, we went in southern France and Dijon, and we were at we just crossed the Rhine, and we were past Strasbourg, I don't know how many miles, when they had the breakthrough.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they told us to go back to Strasbourg. That was the only time we ever backed up. And then, of course, from there, we went on into Germany, and we ended up at Munich. when the war ended.
Were you disappointed that you didn't get to march into Berlin?
Well, no, never thought of it. But you know, it was funny. We didn't know, but we always were hoping that those Germans would kill a lot of them Russians, because for some reason we thought that we'd be fighting the Russians someday.
There you go.
We still may.
When you
But
were-
I was all the time overseas. I was with this Stan Preble.
Okay.
And he was, what was he? He was 5 years older than me. Of course, he had graduated from college. The other guy that was with me, we always called him Shorty. He was Shorty Cannon, and he was from South Carolina.
Yeah.
He had been 2 years of college. But I was the only one there that didn't have any.
Yeah.
But I got along all right with them. But anyhow, what I wanted to tell you about this Stan Preble, we got to be really, well, I was with him 2 years. And I really got to know him. He wasn't married. And I got to know him real well. And he wrote a book, which I got one here. He wrote a book on chelation.
Okay. Okay.
And like, what did you say the book was worth? Or was you, or who got it? Well, a couple people, and I told them about it. The book today was selling for $100. And then, or was it $1,000? $1,000. It's just a paperback book. I'll get it and show it to you.
Yeah.
And he got some to finally get it published. And 4 days after it was published, he died. And his wife called me and told
Holy
me.
smokes! Wow! Wow!
Now, he had come to our house once. He ended up, he ran a lumber mill out in California. But he was a super guy, and we just were good friends.
Yeah.
We would talk on the phone like New Year's and Christmas and all that. And
Good kind of friends to have. This is a real long shot. While you were in Italy, did you happen to come across a guy, a Polish kid from Anderson by the name of Frank Robiton?
what was it again?
Frank Robiton.
No.
Yeah.
I was wondering about Virginia.
I'm not real good at remembering names.
Okay. Well, it's just a real long shot. He was in the Anzio area, and he worked mainly on keeping the wires up.
Oh,
And he'd go out at night and fix the wires and cut the German lines.
well, I'm sure he would be the guy that if we had land telephone, he was the one that was doing it.
It's very possible that he.
Oh, like
Maybe
when
work
we
the
were
same.
in Italy, I should tell you this. See, the Americans there did not have their own night fighters yet.
Right.
And they flew these English night fighters. And there were a group of guys in my outfit, not in my little outfit, that could speak perfect German.
Huh.
And they would get on the radio and try and goof up the German pilots,
Oh.
which they did pretty good for a couple of weeks, then they caught on to it.
Wow.
And we were pretty proud of that.
Yeah, oh, sure. I hadn't heard that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were Americans, but they were German Americans,
Sure,
you might say.
right.
But they could speak good English or good German, and that's what they did.
So, when
Then,
where do you think you were most in trouble? Where were you most afraid of getting hurt or killed? I mean, you were in some pretty hot
I think the
zones.
most I was scared was climbing down that damn rope.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you want me to tell you another time I was AWOL?
You go 3 times. Are you getting good focus here? He's a little close. Okay. All right.
Okay. So we're there after the war's over. So we decided we didn't quite have enough, like I missed 2 points to have enough to go home.
Ah,
So this Shorty and Stan Preble and I, we volunteered to go to CBI, China, Burma, India. At this time, we were at a base right, well, it was really attached to the airfield at Munich.
right.
Oh, by the way, when we were there, one of the worst things I saw was Dachau.
Oh, boy.
See, the infantry got in there the day before we did, and then we got there. That was awful.
I can imagine.
Well,
Wow.
anyhow,
So what'd you see when you got in there? When you went there, what did you actually
I
see?
couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
How awful it was. And it
Oh, sure.
smelt. It was awful.
I can imagine.
Millie and I went there. We had a chance. We had went to, we went to Munich twice, after we were
Yeah.
married. And I think I felt worse even seeing it then when I realized actually what went on.
Oh, sure. Now, why were you sent there? Did you have a specific
When?
duty
You
there?
mean
When you went
after the war?
No, during the war.
Why?
When you were
I
sent
don't
there.
know. We were just there.
Yeah, I know Eisenhower had a lot of people he wanted to go through that and see that.
No,
But I don't know if it was for that or you had a
we just
specific
heard
task.
about it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where we saw Hitler's hideout. We went there.
Oh,
too.
really? Okay.
And I can't find those pictures. I got pictures of Stan and I standing in the window.
No kidding, really?
Hitler's hideout.
Was that the one up on the mountain, the Birch's Garden? Or?
Yeah, Birch's Garden.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
it.
That's
Son of
where
a
he got
gun.
that gun.
Oh, really?
We were there before the war was over.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize anybody had gotten there before the war was over. I knew just right afterwards they went up there.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
were right in the
we
front.
weren't there at first. The infantry was there.
Oh, sure.
But we were there,
Yeah.
believe me. When we got to Munich, first thing I did, I asked the guy, I says, where's our brewery? A German. He told me. We went there. And I got 2 cases of beer. When Millie and I went there, 15, 20 years later, you think I could find that damn beer? I couldn't find nothing.
Was it as good as the beer in your grandpa's basement? Or?
Well, anyhow, we're at that airport, and our commanding officer come in and he said, I say there's 2 guys in our company that never got home. Never had a furlough. And he says, it's Stan Preble and Louie Lee. And he says, only one of them can do this. He says, I've arranged for you to go to England for a week, but you're going to have to draw straws
Okay.
to tell you which one can go. I was lucky. I got to go.
Ah, okay.
And Stan says, oh, take my camera and take some pictures
Yeah.
over there, because he had never been to England, or neither had I. We weren't there. Okay. I go to the airport like he told me I'm supposed to, and I took some, I don't know what all I took, And I know Stan says, oh, take my camera. He had a 35 millimeter camera. And, I said, okay. So I get there, and we went there in a C-47, and you just sat on the floor.
Yeah.
we landed at the airport, and I got to talk to a guy, and he says, well, go to the PX first. They'll help you out. Because I didn't know anybody, and I
Sure.
was by myself. So I got out of the plane, I went and I got a taxi. I told him I wanted to go to the PX. And I sat the camera down.
Oops.
I thought of it after I'd been out of it.
Yeah.
And I tried, and the taxi company was nice, but somebody else got it. Well, anyhow, I was supposed to go back to the airport the next Monday.
Yeah.
I went back, and they says, oh, no, we're not flying to Munich. You can't go on that plane.
Huh.
Oh. What was I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Well, he says, all I can tell you is come back next Monday.
Oh.
And that's a whole week. So I come back next Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're not going there. You can't go. I said, oh, geez. So I did get to know a few people in England in the meantime, you know. So the third time I went,
Yeah.
okay, you can go. All right, I get back to my company. They went to CBI
Oh.
2 weeks afterwards. Or they were there. If I'd have went home, they'd
Sure.
have been there. If I'd have went home the second week, they'd have been there.
Oh, no.
They're on their way. The war ends. They turn around, and they're in New York, and I'm still over in Munich.
Oh, no.
And I get there, and I said to this officer, I says, he checked on me over there, and they said, yeah, he came here, but we told him no, so I just missed getting on that boat. But anyhow,
I thought they were going to say that you gave him another AWOL.
that's what I mean. If my oldest son would be here, he'd have told you. He said, I'm the only guy he ever heard of that was AWOL 3 times and never had anything happen. But it was funny circumstances.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Couldn't control that.
Well, anyhow, so this officer says, well, you know what you can do? He says, we just lost our mail clerk because he's went with that group of guys.
Yeah.
Why don't you take care of the mail?
There you go.
I did, but boy, that first day I had a hell of a time. I never saw these names,
Yeah, yeah.
and most of them were all handwritten. I had a hell of a time pronouncing them, but I did it, and so I did that for, I don't know, almost a month and a half, and my outfit, they were all back home, and
Yeah.
I was still over there in Germany.
Talk about missing the boat.
Then anyhow, then they took me over to France. I can't tell you, it was a big camp where, people gone home.
Yeah, okay.
And lo and behold, and I had a lot of nice stuff. Like I had taken the powder out of a couple German hand grenades, and I had all kinds of stuff, and I had it in my duffel bag, and I had a German pistol, and I had that I got.
Yeah.
I took it away from a mayor, but down. I told him he wasn't supposed to have a gun. And anyhow, I'm walking down this way at this camp there, and my gosh, I see a guy that went in the Army same time I did from my hometown.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Guy by the name of Charlie Stedman.
Yeah.
And he was walking with another guy who was from Tiffin.
Huh.
And Tiffin used to have a junior order home here, which you probably never heard of.
Okay.
I don't know.
No.
But it was a home for orphans.
Okay.
And they were tough kids,
Yeah.
believe me. So eventually, though, we really went out and drank beer that night, the 3 of us from Tiffin. Well, you can imagine.
Oh, yeah. What are the odds of that?
And then we we got on the boat. Hell, it only took us, I think, 5 days to get back to the States.
Yeah.
Well, we were on a regular,
Oh,
pretty
sure.
nice ship.
Yeah.
Anyhow, when we ended up at, what was it? Can't say that. Beer is made there, a big beer.
Milwaukee or
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania? Okay.
Latrobe.
I'll think of it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, then we're being checked out of the Army, see? And this guy doing the checking, my goodness, he says, I never saw anything like this before. He says, what are you talking about? He said, you two guys went in the Army the same day.
Yeah.
You were never together, and now you're getting out the same day.
That is strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that guy, he went to the other high school. He went to Columbia, and I went to Calvert. And I knew him, but not real well. But from then on, I knew him a lot.
Oh, I
you
bet.
know.
Yeah.
We got to be pretty good friends. Just because then we were on the boat together and just had a lot of fun. But anyhow, if Jim would have been here, he says, I'm going to tell them guys that you were AWOL 3 times and never got the thing for it.
You said you were in those camps waiting to get shipped back on. One of the cigarette camps, like Camp Chesterfield or Camp Lucky Strike or one of those?
I can't tell you, to be
Yeah,
honest.
okay.
All I know is it was in France.
Okay.
I can't even tell you where. I
Yeah.
don't know.
That was a good deal. Considering how they were going to get everybody back, that gave you a nice place to
as I
stay
told
and
you,
things to
I
do.
don't think we were on maybe 5.5 days, but we got a lot different than going over.
Well, I bet
at
you get sick.
31.
You get sick going back.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah.
But like Millie and I, if we would go to Mexico,
Yeah.
sicker in hell. Not her. Or we went to the Dominican Republic once, and I about died.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico, same thing. Anything in the South. We could go to Europe, fine.
Well,
I don't know, I got a funny stomach.
your
I know what it is.
your guardian angel was riding beside you when you went in to sign up for the Navy, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kept
Oh
you out
yeah,
of that.
hell, or even the paratroopers. I'd have never been there. Never.
Yeah.
That was something funny too. First time I joined this, I used to pray a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got down on my knees and stuff. What the hell are you doing? I said, I'm saying a prayer.
Yeah.
They couldn't figure out why in the hell I would kneel down
Yeah.
on the dirt floor to say a prayer. They kidded me a lot, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But they called me Louie. I told them I was Chinese.
Yeah.
I thought, you guys. But I'll tell you, we worked hard, and I'm not kidding. And we had a lot of, they told us that we had more letters of recommendation than anybody.
Wow.
But we were always on detached service.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
3 guys.
Yeah.
Well, just think that one guy, hell, he was a college graduate. I felt pretty good. He wasn't more than me than a T5. Oh, I'll tell you how I became a PFC once.
All right.
This was in that camp at Florida. Not the first one, the second one. We had been in the Army, I don't know, maybe a month. And of course we had our dog tags,
Yeah.
and they kept on telling you, now you gotta wear your dog tags all the time. Well, hell, I didn't want to wear them dumb dog tags,
Yeah.
So this morning the company commander calls you out in front. And the day before, we were just issued a bayonet to put on our gun.
Yeah.
So he walked through the line, and every once in a while he'd say, "Soldier, let me see your dog tags." And Stan was sitting there on the side of me. I said, Stan, do you have yours on? He says, yeah. I says, I don't. If you didn't have your dog tags on, he says, okay, you can't go out tonight. You got to stay in camp. Well, that one, anyhow. Then he would ask him, okay, why were you think you were issued that bayonet yesterday? Oh, most of them says, oh, use it when you eat, and you can open the cans with it. And, well, he comes to the row I'm in, and I thought, oh my God, I hope he don't stop to me. He said, soldier, why do you think you got that bayonet issued yesterday? I said, to kill. Oh! He said, wow. And he says, that's just what I wanted to hear. And he never even asked to see my dog. So the next day my name was on the bulletin board. I became a PFC. I hope are you taking this? I hope not. Oh no.
It's running.
I could tell you another one, but I don't think I will.
You're gonna get a call from the Department of Defense eventually.
They're gonna redo that.
Oh, brother.
We did get a lot of letters of recommendation, though.
Yeah.
But that didn't do any good. Because we were attached to the infantry. But we weren't infantrymen.
Right. Yeah. Well, you had quite a run there. You were in some pretty hot spots around.
Yeah. Well, I thought, actually, going in southern France, and Anzio didn't bother. At Anzio, they would just, I think it was around 4 o'clock, though, boy, they would, those 88s or whatever they had, they would go all over.
Yeah.
But, you see, we were there for only 6 weeks, and we were there for the last 6 weeks, because
Right.
the infantry went in, and we went in after them. As I told you, they were there early in Rome, and we got there at noontime.
So did you have pretty good supply lines?
Oh, yeah, we never had any trouble. with
Frank
that.
Robertin was saying that when they went into southern France, they got to a point where they didn't have any food and had to just kind of scrounge what they could find.
We never had that.
All right.
Wonder which army he was in.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look that one up.
See, when we when we were in Rome, in Italy, I think it was the 5th Army.
Okay.
When we went in France, we were in the 7th, and the Patton had the 5th. He was right aside of us. You want me to tell you me running into Patton once?
Tell me about that.
Well, my buddy Stan Preble and I, we took the Jeep this day. You know, we could do what we wanted,
Sure.
believe it or not. And we ran across, the 5th Army was right next to us.
Yeah.
And Stan says, he says, I was never in a tank. Well, I said, geez, I never was either. Well, I says, well, let's go up to one and ask him if we can look. So we go up to this tank, and the guys were real nice.
Yeah.
We told them who we were, and he said, come on in. So I don't know whether it was Stan or I got in the tank. And the other one, I was standing up on top of it. And who comes along in a command car but Patton? He says, hey, what's this Jeep doing here?
Oh, boy.
And Stan says, oh, that's ours. I says, yeah, that's ours. Well, he says, who are you? He says, you're not dressed like one of us. I told him we were in the 7th Army, and we had just never been in a tank, and we just thought, well, listen, he says, you looked at it. Now you get the hell out of here and don't come back. Or he says, I'm going to tell your commanding officer. That was the end of it. But we were scared to death.
Well, you
Surprised you didn't put him in a tank.
you make friends fast, don't you? Well, he was right up there with everybody. He
Oh, they
exposed
loved
himself more times.
And we thought, too, that the darn Russians or somebody had him killed when he got killed over there. We never thought he was in the accident. Oh,
Yeah, it was
not that we would know, but
would have been to their benefit to get rid of him.
sure. And, you know, he was thinking about running for president when he come back, too.
Oh boy.
I think that might have even had something to do with it.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
See-
you're right. His men would do anything for him because they know he would do it too.
Blood and guts.
Okay.
He'd have ended the war a lot sooner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess the Russians didn't like him, and neither did the English.
Yeah.
But he liked his army.
Yeah, he really moved him along too fast. He was outrunning his supply lines most of the
Yeah.
time.
Well, yeah, that was, he had trouble.
Yeah.
But I don't think we ever did. Of course, hell, if we couldn't eat, we'd go get it.
Okay.
Well, you know, we'd get eggs from the farmers if we wanted them.
Sure.
All you had to do was show them a potato masher that I already took the powder out. Well, in our Jeep, we had one hanging on each side.
We want eggs.
Okay.
Anyhow, somebody come in and stole all of my stuff.
Ah.
The only thing they didn't take is my gun.
Yeah.
And I had that under my pillow.
Ah. Yeah. Oh, on your Jeep, did you have a wire catcher on the Jeep? You know, it's a rod that kind of sticks up off the bumper to clip wires. That, you know, the Germans used to put wires across the road and just about.
No, I don't think
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah. I know a lot.
I don't remember it, I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you go to the Eisenhower Presidential Library, they got a Jeep there that has a wire catcher on it. That's just something the fellows devised.
No.
They.
I tell you what we did, though. We enclosed it once.
How'd you enclose a Jeep?
Well, put wood around it.
Canvas
It was in the winter time.
Oh, okay.
Well, us three guys sort of took care of that Jeep.
Yeah.
And you didn't use it much. Once in a great while,
Yeah.
you had to go to a different outfit to tell them something if you couldn't talk to them,
Right, right.
you know, on the radio or the phone.
Surprised somebody didn't steal it.
Yeah.
We got one.
Hot commodity.
Well, we didn't know when we got in southern France, you know, what the hell are you going to do? I don't know what happened when we got off of when we landed. We just kept it going. And there were some of our guys too, but we never found them. And we never found that 2.5-ton truck that had our stuff on it till the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Then we got organized.
Yeah, kind of hard to work without equipment.
Go. I'm just gonna let it run.
All right. Where we at here?
Well, maybe I'm gonna let it run.
Yeah. All right. This is San Diego. This is the basketball team.
I need to give them to you.
Which one were you?
One with the cap on.
Okay.
Were any of those the same guys that you stayed with, that you ended up with?
No, they were in my outfit, but that was a basketball team.
Yeah.
And we would play other teams.
What's that shoe?
Basketball shoe.
So that's a big basketball shoe. Was Wilt Chamberlain in your outfit?
Heck, I was in San Diego, I'll bet you almost 9 months. Something like that.
Let's see. We'll get it mixed up here.
Okay. Oh, the SS Minnow. That's as close as I can get.
Okay.
The SS Wilson Victory?
Wilson
Windsor
Victory. Yeah.
Oh, is that the boat I went over?
This one, I see you were prepared for the thing to go down. That patch kept coming loose.
Okay.
Okay.
Now that's the only time we were issued beer.
Okay.
Well, that was something different.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Anzio.
Anzio, okay.
I'm not sure I want beer with a gun.
Yeah.
There's something.
Yeah, it could get dangerous.
Yeah, might as well get drunk and go.
And what the heck is growing out front there? It looks like corn stalks.
In Italy.
Well, that's what I said. They told us to leave that. That way the Germans don't think that our hole is right there.
Okay.
That's supposed to have been camouflage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow, that makes sense.
See, we didn't make that hole there.
Yeah.
People before us did.
How about the newspaper boy picture? I think that's great.
Oh, yeah.
The one of the French guys,
Was that out here?
French guy. Does Joan
free
know?
France.
So these are the newspaper boys, though.
Now,
Oh, the newspapers.
hold still.
Okay.
I'm gonna come in and really get a, that's as close as I can get anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now if I can pan this.
How old were you there, Dad?
Hmm?
How old were you there when you were a newspaper
He
boy?
was 13, I think. I did the math. There's a date on the
Wow.
back of that. 12 or 13 years old.
Okay.
I was in grade school.
You tell him when he.
Now, say this was free French?
Yes.
Hey, Don,
Yeah. What?
come closer.
Closer.
Okay, well, we're out of focus now. Well, if anything will test the focus on this, that will.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, go. Go.
Okay, you said he didn't go very many places in that Jeep. I think I can see why.
We thought we were pretty lucky to have.
You were.
He wants one of you on the boat.
Oh, did you do a
Okay,
small?
what's
All
this one?
All right, now this one is the, you converted your Jeep, and then this is actually a wood shell that you put up there? You made this out of wood?
Sure.
You're the only guys in the Army that had a woody. Wow.
Listen, at one place we even had a ping pong table right along the ocean, or right along the sea there. And some officers went by and saw us playing ping pong, and they took.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's that picture of you in a cocky pose, and here you are in that cocky pose of
Oh,
young
yeah.
tough soldier.
I thought I was pretty tough.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
I didn't tell you a lot of that, the fights I got in.
Okay, recording.
Okay. Well, Louie Lee, February 1942, Corporal, San Diego, California.
That's right, that's where it was.
Hadn't changed a bit. I take these photos home and scan them, and my then teenage daughter would look at him and say, "Oh, he's cute. Who's he?"
Well,
Okay, hang on here. I gotta come in real close on this one.
You mean this one?
Here. Let him do this one.
Okay. Out, yeah. there
Wow,
you go.
yeah.
Capture.
Well, I'll get it, I'll get it.
I get it.
Buick?
You
You know what kind of car that was that
Pontiac,
Millie's
maybe?
on?
Pontiac?
What kind of car is that Millie's sitting on the hood?
That's a Dodge.
That's a Dodge?
That's the car I waited
I
13 months for to get.
I knew there was something I liked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The heck with a Dodge.
Oh, come on, start. Okay, now go.
When did you get this car?
We got that car when I was a senior in high school. There were 3 of us. We each put $5 in. The total cost of the car was $15. And after we graduated, why, we sort of lived in the other parts of Tiffin, and I had a little money from working at the theater, so I gave each one of them $5, so the car belonged to me for $15. And it ran,
Wheeler dealer.
it ran, only you had to crank it to start it.
Yeah. Oh,
What
man.
was it?
Model T Ford.
Model T?
Okay.
Now,
And
what
and
happened to it?
I don't know.
Did you?
I gave it to Bob Patterson because we had a hard time getting gas right before we went in.
Yeah.
And the guy that ended up in the Naval Air Corps, he was working at a gas station so he could get gas once in a while somehow, some
Yeah.
way. And what happened then when I went into service, I told him to keep it. And the last I saw it, it was in his backyard. And I don't know what happened. I forgot all about it until I come home. And then one day I ran across some of these pictures of it. And I thought, and he died, so I never did get to find out what happened to him.
Well, it cost you $20 to buy that car back today.
Okay, what's the story on the picture?
What's story on this drawing here?
I don't know. I don't remember it. I'm sorry.
Do you know who it is?
I think it's supposed to be me.
It does say on there, this is me in Italy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it
Sent
is
that-
Louis.
He
I
sent
can
that
see
home
it.
to his mom and
A
dad.
profile of Louis Lee in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a V letter? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Well, that's the way most of our letters were, those V things, or whatever they were called. They had 2 fire departments, one on each side.
Yeah.
And they squirted both sides of the place.
Yeah.
You're on.
Yeah, it's from your honor flight. When did you go on the honor flight?
Washington, D.C.
Yeah, but when? When did you go?
About 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Millie,
Yeah.
how long ago did I go to Washington on that? 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe 5.
It's about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Great experience, and I recommend it to anybody who can.
It was
can do
wonderful.
it.
I
They-
couldn't
they
believe
really take care
how
of you.
nice those people were.
Oh yeah.
That's personal. I'll get my wand out.
Remember.
That is personal.
There you go.
That is personal.
All right. See you on?
I can't
Bang.
get
Go.
this darn thing
Okay.
out of my pocket.
Oh.
There it is.
All right. So you finally, you muster out. You came back home on the ship, and where did you actually dock? Where'd you come in?
We come in New York.
New York. Yeah. What'd you think of that Statue of Liberty?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Now we didn't really get to go in New York.
Yeah.
We went, I think it was Indiantown Gap.
Pennsylvania.
Yes.
All right. Sure. All right. Okay.
I can't think of the name of the camp. Darn it. And it's a city that makes beer.
Yeah.
It's the oldest beer people in the United States. Hell, I could go on. Well, hell, it tells me where it was here.
Yeah.
I think. But they don't name the city the way I tell people.
Right.
Separation Center, Indian Town Gap Mill Reservation, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Indian Town Gap. That's where the guy said he couldn't believe it that us two guys went in the Army the same day, got out the same day, and were never close to each other.
So you started out with the nuns, they put you in the Army, and then they turned you over to the Indians.
Yeah.
You got around, Louie.
Well, did you see there? They said I was a linoleum layer.
So you got out. You were separated there in Pennsylvania. How'd you get home?
Come home on the train.
Okay.
Came right to the station here in Tiffin, and all three of us did.
Okay.
Because the one guy, well, we all three lived in Tiffin. The one guy was the junior order homeboy,
Okay.
which was an orphanage here in Tiffin,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure.
which was, now it's a state hospital. But I'll tell you, it was a great place. They were the first ones in northern Ohio to have lights on their football field.
Really?
They were way ahead as far as teaching. They were way ahead of all the schools because kids had graduated from there, knew how printing, they knew how to fix an automobile, they knew how to repair a fender if it got dented. They taught all of that back then,
Yeah.
which they do in a vocational high school here in Tiffin now.
Yeah. That's good training.
Yeah.
Really prepares you for life.
I used to be on the school board at Calvert, and we went to, I think, Governor Louie. Did you ever hear of him, of Ohio? He was the governor, and he wanted to meet all the school boards.
Okay.
And two of us from Calvert and two from Columbia, we went together. And when we got there, he had talked, and then he said, you know, there's two schools here from Tiffin, Ohio, which is a small town. But he said there was three, but that school is not in existence anymore. And he said they were way ahead of all the other schools.
Wow.
Because they taught the kids manual training.
Right.
And he said, and boy, that's what we need. Because not every kid is made out to be an engineer or a doctor.
Yeah.
And that was the truth. All those
true.
boys, they left junior home, they had a job.
Yeah. That's true
Well,
today.
In fact, the guy that was the superintendent of the public schools, he graduated from junior home at that time.
Wow.
The guy that was mayor of Fremont, where Joan lives, he was a graduate of junior home. They were way ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
And those kids would come to downtown Tiffin on Saturdays. They all wore overalls, and they all had a belt on. And I can remember my grandpa told me, he says, don't get in a fight with one of those kids because there'll be 10 more of them right on you.
Yeah, there would
They
be.
stuck together. But we played them football and basketball.
Huh.
When I was a junior, was the first time that Calvert ever beat junior home and Columbia in the same year. And when I was a senior, we lost to one game to junior home 6-0. They were tough.
Yeah.
When I was a sophomore, we lost 2 games, one to junior home and one to Columbia. But Columbia was a hell of a lot bigger school than
Yeah.
we were.
Wow.
But we all got along fine.
So you got off the train. Did somebody meet you at the station, or did you just kind
Here
of?
in Tiffin,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes. My mother, my sister Mary, and my brother Bob's wife, and I think my Aunt Louise
Okay.
met me at the station. And they took me to our store where my father was alone. And that's when I met him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good reunion, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was on a Saturday. And of course, Sunday we had to go to church. And my mother wanted me to wear my uniform. And I didn't want to, but I finally wore it. And she and I walked up the aisle, and that's what she wanted. And of course, my father was singing in the choir then, so he was upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember they met me in the train station. They were there.
Well, you remember that little run-in with General Patton? Your mother outranks him. When Mom says wear the uniform, wear the uniform.
Yeah, I did. Well, she never asked me to do too much, really.
Yeah.
And what else did she save for me? And I thought, uh-oh. And we had it in the Army all the time. I can't think of what it was. Something that came in a can.
Spam?
Spam is right. That's just what it was. Spam. How did you know that?
We were talking about it this morning.
Because that's the kind of reaction that people get when they say spam and they've been in the Army.
Well, we got it in the Army, you know. But you couldn't buy it out in, if you were a civilian. And she saved me a can of Spam. I never told her, though, that we had that.
Yeah, we interviewed a guy who said he knew he was in Dutch when his wife served him Spam and eggplant. He was in CBI. They lived on Spam and eggplant. So, did you went back to work in the store, or what would you do?
No, I went back to work in the store.
Okay. And
I've been there ever since,
Yeah.
except when I was 92, I retired.
yeah, that's a pretty
After
good run.
I had pneumonia, and I found out, taking care of Millie, what a wonderful girl she was.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that wonderful girl. First of all, your wife's name is?
Her real name is Emilda.
Okay.
Emilda Rose Swint was
Okay.
her name.
Okay.
But we always just called her Millie.
How'd you meet her? What's the story there?
Well, you really want to hear that story?
Are we going to have any grandkids that are going to be affected by this?
I had been home.
We got 5 more takes to go.
Okay.
I had been home probably over a year, and I never knew Millie.
Yeah.
She was from Fremont,
Yeah.
which is about 18 miles from here. Only a good friend of mine dated a girl from Fremont who knew Millie.
Yeah.
And this guy called me up. Well, I would see him a lot, you know. He says, you know, why don't I get you a date with that Millie Swint? Well, I says, I don't know her, but okay. So about a week later, he calls me and he says, hey, I got you a date over there in Fremont. I says, oh, yeah. He says, I told him we'd be there at 6:30 and pick him up. I said, oh, okay. All right, so he picks me up at 6 o'clock, and we go to Fremont. And we're there in Fremont. I said, geez, you know, I don't know where this girl lives. Oh, he says, I know. So he pulled up on front of this house. Why, he said, she lives right there in that house. I said, oh. So I got out, and he says, I'll go get my girl, and I'll see you in a little bit. So I go up, and I ring the doorbell, and her dad comes to the door, and I told him who I was, and he says, oh, well, come on in, you know. And so then her mother come in, and I met her. And then Millie came down from upstairs, and I met her. Well, and see, this was 6:30.
Yeah.
Well, got to 7:30, and my friend never come back to pick me up yet. It got to be 9 o'clock, and Millie's mom and dad says, well, you know, I think we're going to go to bed. And so Millie and I went out in the kitchen. Came to be 10:30, and I was still talking to Millie in the kitchen. And anyhow, and then he came. And well, he says, well, they just got company, and there was a cousin she hadn't seen, and she wanted to stay and talk to her cousin. And he says, well, I thought you wouldn't mind. So, anyhow, I told Millie that night, I says, okay, I says, someday I'm going to marry you.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, I never saw her. I think, was it 3 weeks or 3 months?
3 months.
3 months. I never saw her. Never had another date with her. And in those days, we used to go dance at different places. There was a ballroom in Bascom, which is about 7 miles from here. In Fremont, where Millie lived, there was a place called Rainbow Gardens. On Wednesday night, you went there, stag. On Sunday night, you took a date. And they had big bands there. It was wonderful. Well, anyhow, a buddy of mine and I, we hitchhiked to Bascom this night, and on a Wednesday, and that's a stag night. And we were walking around the dance floor, and lo and behold, I see a girl. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's that girl I had that blind date with. And oh, she looks, I said, boy, she really is good looking. So I went up and met her. Yeah, I got a date with her the following Sunday. But the only time we ever dated, well, and then I went with her probably, about 9 months, and then we got engaged. And I'll tell you how we got engaged. I got a ring. And I sang in the choir then again. And this was Christmas was coming up. And I called her and I says, Millie, I'm going to come and get you and bring you to midnight mass over in Tiffin, and I'll sing, and I'll bring you, hey, you can sit up in the balcony with me. Oh, she says, I can't, Christmas Eve. She says, I promised a girlfriend of mine I'd go to midnight mass with her here in Fremont. And she lived right across from St. Joseph's Church in Fremont. Yeah. I says, well, okay, I'll be over and I'll go with you. Oh, she said, that'll be fine. So I went over and the three of us went to midnight mass together. And after the homily, I thought, I brings out this ring and I gives it to Millie in church. And church was jammed full of people. Millie says, I'm not going to take that ring here in church. And her friend said, Millie, you better take that ring. Take it. Well, anyhow, Millie says, no, I'm not going to take that ring in church. She didn't even know I was going to give her one. Right? Well, anyhow, so after Mass, we walked over to her house, and her mother made breakfast for us. And she took the ring there.
Ah, there you go. Wow.
So she was quite a conqueror, I'll tell you. I had a hell of a time. I sort of fooled her. I didn't tell her I was going to give her a ring. That's the reason why
That's a pretty good story.
I only ever dated her on Sunday. Hell, I couldn't get a date with her because she was always busy. And she did go to college at Ohio U for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she had to work to make money to go, you know, in those days. But anyhow, we ended up getting married then about a year later. And ever since then, it's been pretty nice.
So,
Lord's really been good to us, honest.
How long have you been
see
married?
What we got, these two. We got the best 2 girls there are, and they got great husbands. Yeah. And we got 2 sons. My son Jim, he runs the store now. Okay. Hell. So.
Well, okay, let's make it a little official. What are your children's names and a little something about them?
Well, our son Jim, he's the oldest. His name is James Lewis, the opposite of me, Lewis James. And he graduated from Toledo U. He married a girl whose parents came from junior order home,
No
the
kid.
orphanage.
No kid.
Yeah. Anyhow, he has 4 children. His oldest boy is Jim. Now, what is his title? He works.
IRS.
He always wanted to be an FBI man.
Okay.
Then he was in college. They had told him best thing to do. The FBI needs accountants. So he went to a college in Youngstown or someplace. Well, he was a pretty good baseball player and he got help. Anyhow, he graduated and then he went to the FBI training, passed it, but they put him in the other division.
Director of Field Operations of the Internal Revenue.
Okay, so they put him, his first assignment was in Detroit.
Yeah.
And he would go in on drug busts there. Then he got moved to Louisiana, and he worked there. Then they moved him to Boston, and there they had 3 states because they were small, and he became the second in command there at Boston. Then they moved him back to Louisiana, and he was number 1 man. And like there in Louisiana, he had like 124 agents under him.
Right.
Okay, and then from there, the 3 worst states are New York, Illinois, and New Orleans.
Chicago. He was in
Yeah.
Chicago.
Illinois.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So from there, they sent him to be the head man in Louisiana. He was there a while. Then from there, they sent him to be the head man in Chicago. He was the head of that. Then he wrote a book on how these offices should be run. They took him back to Washington, sent him all over the world. They sent him to wherever they had an office, they sent him. And of course, he was young, and he knew how to handle older people, and he was nice to them. And he would just sit there and listen a couple of days, and then he would just give them a few ideas. Well, anyhow, then they brought him back to Washington, and now there are 4 of them that one of those 4 will become the head man in the Internal Revenue that goes after people that
Right.
launder money
Right.
and do things like that. So he's got a hell of a job.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Now, since he's been in Washington and this other, before he was always out in the field, you know.
Yeah.
Well, like when he was in Chicago, hell, he had something like 270 guys under him, agents.
Yeah.
But he says now there's politics connected with it. And,
Yeah.
But he's still there, and one of those 4 now will be in the head man
Okay.
in the United States.
It's pretty good.
Now he has the eastern United States, like
Yeah.
he has Ohio, now he has New York, and
Yeah.
that's the way the states are divided into 4 different groups. Next guy is our son John D. He graduated from Bowling Green, and he wanted to be a teacher, a distributive ed teacher. He had a job in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. All the kids worked in the store in the summers. And John was working in the store. And he come in one day, he come to me, he says, Dad, maybe I don't want to be a teacher. He says, maybe I'd like to go on the road and sell carpet. He said, do you know anybody? I said, well, yeah, there was a guy Bigelow had an head office in Cleveland. I called him. This guy says, you know what? He says, I've been interviewing guys all day, and I'm tired. And he says, I have to know by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning who the new man is. Can your son be here by 9 to Cleveland tomorrow morning? I said, yeah. He went up and he got the job. So he first worked for Bigelow, then Karastan bought Bigelow, and he worked
yeah.
for Karastan. Now, he was in the commercial end of it. In other words, he just called on customers that were big and did big jobs.
Right.
All right, then Mohawk bought Karastan.
Yeah.
So then he went to work for Karastan, and he had California, and then he married a girl who worked for Karastan before. So anyhow, then lo and behold, I don't know how old they both were, but they never thought they could have any. They had never been married. And anyhow, it ended up they had a boy. And then John says, I don't want to raise him in California. So a job come up in Columbus. And then he was the head of, well, there's 3 guys that in the United States, and he would have, like, what would he have, 13 states?
13 states.
He had 13 states he was the head of. He would have to go and if somebody needed to be jacked up or somebody needed to be fired, he was never home. And if, like on Sundays or weekends, he was always had meetings he had to be to. Well, anyhow, he finally retired, and now he's at home. I mean, they live in Columbus still. They moved out of a real, he lived at, what's the big golf course in Columbus?
Muirfield.
What is it?
Muirfield.
Muirfield. They lived in Muirfield, so you know he had a nice home.
Yeah.
And now, though, they live in a condo in Columbus. And he's doing fine, but he thinks about maybe he'd just like to get a job to do something. And then the next one is Joni. And, of course, she married Jody Heberling. She graduated from Bowling Green. And she was she took up, well, her first job was in Akron. And she was the first one in Akron in this criminal case. It wasn't a criminal case, but I guess it was a divorce case. And they brought her in. And they had a child. And she said the man should have the child and not the mother, because the mother was, and that was the first time that ever happened.
Yeah, that's
in the
very
Akron
unusual.
area. Well, then she got married, had 2 kids. Her 2 kids graduated from Ohio U, where Millie was. And the one is a teacher. She teaches the teachers how to teach.
Okay.
The other one, who does
She works for Donor Agency.
Jamie work for?
Donor, it's an advertising agency.
She's got a hell of a job. They send her all over to get jobs for advertising. Then we come to Bootser, Julie. And she went to Notre Dame, then she ended up she ended up graduating from the Atlanta School of Design.
Okay.
And when she was there going to school, she got a job at, what was the name of that company, honey?
Paul Harris.
Paul Harris.
All right.
And then, when she graduated, she went to work for Paul Harris, and she was like a district manager. That she had, 3 or 4 states she took care of. Then they went on business. Well, then, she's had 3 boys, pardon me. And the one boy got married this past year. he graduated from what? Eastern Michigan?
Central Michigan.
Okay.
Okay.
And now he works for,
J.B. Hunt in Chicago.
yeah, he
Okay.
took up logistics.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
the girl he married, she was also in logistics.
three.
Oh, really?
They both now work for the same company.
Yeah.
And now they're both in Chicago, but different companies, different offices. And then her youngest boy is now studying, well, I don't know. We think he's going to be a wizard. He's a wizard with computers. He'll be is he a sophomore or a junior at Michigan State?
Okay.
And and she had a son, John
Lee.
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 His first name's Lee.
Okay.
He's their second one. And guess what he got into?
What?
Carpet.
Wait, what?
Well, anyhow, no, he ended up he's an engineer. And he works for
Two.
a German company, and they sent him to Germany. And he was over there 3 months to their headquarters. What's the name of that company?
Norma Group.
But he works in Michigan now.
Okay.
And then the younger boy is one that's, and Lee graduated from Michigan State also. He was quite an athlete. Well, in fact, both of those boys, they went to a high school in Michigan as big as you can go to. And they both played, they were both hockey players
And lacrosse.
and they played lacrosse.
Okay. That's tough.
And the oldest boy, he was on the All-Michigan lacrosse team,
Huh. Wow.
All-State.
Yeah, we got one.
And now this young boy is real good. They sent him from his school and one girl and they competed with other states, and he did pretty good. So we sort of think he'll end up in computers. But what is he, just a sophomore? He's a sophomore.
Yeah. You
Well,
didn't-
that's it. His name is Lee, first name.
William.
Will.
And
Will.
and we have a Howie is the oldest one who's married.
Yeah.
And then the youngest one is Will.
Okay. Well, your family's done really well.
Oh, you aren't
We got
kidding.
about 15 seconds.
And I want to know, is any of this true?
I think it'll be all true, yeah, whatever you say.
And I'm curious about the first time he met you. Are you thinking, wow, this is the guy for me? Or are you thinking, when is this guy ever going to get out of my kitchen?
No, I'll tell you, I really did not expect to ever marry him when I first met him. It was a blind date like I never saw him before, you know. I thought he was a very nice man, but I was dating other people, and it wasn't any big deal there. But
Well, now
When I-
tell him what you thought I was. She thought I was cocky,
Was he?
but I don't think I ever was.
he was just a very nice man. Yeah, he was nice, but he was kind of cocky.
So what convinced you to say yes?
After I got to really know him,
Yeah.
he was really very special. Yeah.
What makes him special? What makes Louie special?
He was a very kind. Anything I wanted him to do, he'd do. He was very kind to me, and I appreciated that. And we did have a lot of fun together, and we did not date very much because he was working there. His father owned Lee's Floor Covering, and he was working there 6 days a week. And I was working at the loan company, and I was busy doing what I had to do. And we'd just date on one night a week, and that was Sunday. So Sunday, I got to be with Louie, and it was very enjoyable, and we got to know each other, and it worked out that, yeah, he was one I would really like to marry. And he finally asked me to marry him.
Oh, love that business about not here in church. Great.
Yeah, but
That's the truth.
But yeah, he was always very great. Anyhow, we got married at 9 o'clock in the morning at St. Joe's Church, and he told you that he was trying to give me a ring in church at midnight mass. Well, I was surrounded by a lot of people. I was from Fremont, and I knew a lot of people in Fremont because I was a curl lady. And I said, no, wait. So then when we got back to my mom and dad's house, he did give me the ring. And I accepted. And I was very happy I did.
Boy,
So I probably knew.
decision.
I think I did.
Yeah, when,
He's still a pretty great guy. Yeah. And we had 4 terrific kids. And we had 4 great grandkids. And 10 great grandkids, and we got 4 great in-laws, which is good.
that counts for a while.
And I think we just got the world by the tail.
All right.
And we love it.
How long you been married?
71 years.
71 years. Wow.
71 years.
Well, you might as well stick it out now.
I think I really got to know him.
Yeah, but if something happens to me, I worry. Then what's going to happen?
Yeah.
If I go with her, like the other day, it was so bad.
Well-
I did take her to the little grocery store, and I thought she'd be in there 5 minutes, about half hour. Oh, she says, I saw the old postman, and he come and hugged me and kissed me. And then she talked to another guy she hadn't seen. He hugged her and kissed her. I thought, boy, I'm not going to let her go in that grocery store again. Well, that's the God's truth. That just happened 2 days ago.
I don't doubt that.
And I says, oh, you mean that mailman that lives on the corner? Oh, no, she said, this was another one. Well, I thought, well, we knew that other one.
I always loved people. I really did.
I can see that.
And I had a great life. I just have a lot of friends, and I don't have anything nasty to say about anybody. Louie does not either. So we've been just very good friends of a lot of people in Tiffin and Fremont. But all my friends are kind of dead now.
You know what our motto is.
What's
You
that?
can't say something nice about somebody. Don't say any.
There you go. That's a good one.
And that was our motto at the store.
Final line.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know her. I'm
So-
personal. I'm going to take her home. Millie's going to be AWOL for a while.
But I think this is a wonderful thing, what you did.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry you had to come so far.
It was worth every
They
mile.
were worth every penny of it.
I'm going.
But you do this how? 3 times a week?
Well, not so much now, but at one time we were doing about 3 times a week. Now we try to get them at least once a month or a couple times a month, and
Oh,
it'll
boy.
probably get a little bit more now that I don't have to.
Well, did you know how we got to do this?
Julie.
Yeah, Julie.
Julie, yeah, she has a friend that works with her and told us about you.
Yeah.
And she says, I'd like to have that done and come and have them talk to you and Mom and Dad.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.
Well, yeah, we were
And
a
that's
little
how it
afraid of it.
happened. And I think it's
What the
wonderful,
hell
really.
tell him?
Now there is something I'm curious about. Is there anything in life you haven't gotten around to doing that you wished you could have done? If you had all the money and health and time, go to the moon. I mean, is there anything that you'd still like to do?
All
Do you
I
know-
want to do is make her happy.
Whoa, I
No,
like
you,
that.
you know, we have traveled, really, the world.
Yeah.
And there's no place we really want to go. And we're getting where we cannot walk well. He is 96. And I'm going to be 94. And that's getting old. And all of our... Actually, I don't think there's anything. I'm happy. I'm very happy just to be with my family and my husband now. And our friends, they come in. Hey, we have friends, young friends, at
Yeah,
5
young
o'clock.
friends.
We have a cocktail every evening at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's scotch and peppermint schnapps, and it's a drink my father always drank.
Yeah.
And we'd go over to see Mom and Dad, and he's, oh, good, Mary and Louie are here. We're going to have a drink.
Just one.
So we have only one. And our friends know that we only have one.
Yeah.
But they might have two. We have a nun that lives over here someplace. Yeah. She comes over.
Hey, this
she
is gonna
she
be
calls.
in the air.
She'll say, hey, what you doing?
This tape gets out, we're going to hear from the Department of Defense and the Vatican. So, well, Louie, we always ask our veterans to say a few words for posterity. Are there any words of wisdom or a personal philosophy that's kind of carried you through in life?
Do you know, actually, Louis had no money at all. He had a car, and I bought the bedroom suit. That was about the only thing
That's
we had.
when we got married.
Yeah.
That was when we
I
got
was
married.
making that $35
There
a
you
week.
go. Well, what would you say? What would you say? What would you give advice to your grandkids?
What was that now?
Well, what, just kind of words of wisdom or a personal philosophy that you've lived by in your life.
Just don't say anything bad about anybody and just be as nice as you can.
There you
That's
go.
all.
That's
and
good.
don't hurt anyone. And if you know something bad about them, keep it to yourself. And I
That's
think
good
I got that from my father mostly.
Yeah,
That's the way
that's
he
Louis'
was.
father. That's his father.
Well, Corporal
Which
Lee,
is-
I want to thank you for this interview and for your service to our country.
Oh.
Appreciate your time with us today.
Listen, we have to thank you two gentlemen.
Yeah.